Thanks to MGMA for inviting Iris to be part of the Solutions Spotlight session today. You have Linda Dorrel and Philip Barrett from Iris on. Iris, Philip, you want to skip to the next slide for me? Thank you. Iris exists because 34 million Americans have diabetes. And yet, when you think about it, only 30% of those are getting their annual eye exam. So how can we help organizations to increase the screening compliance for their diabetics? Diabetic retinopathy is the leading cause of blindness in all US adults. So we are on a mission to help prevent blindness. Iris, as I mentioned, is on that mission to end preventable blindness with a multitude of clients. We've been doing this for 6+ years with many different types of organizations, from health systems to primary care organizations to HRAs to retail settings to health plans. It's really making that screening accessible and convenient to the diabetic. So putting that screening program in at the point of care where those diabetics are going to show up, therefore not asking them to schedule a separate appointment with a specialist, because we know that many times they will not show up for those appointments. So it really is about getting that screening completed to stop the progression of retinal disease. As I mentioned, we have hundreds of clients today that have implemented our program. One of the metrics on the slide that I want to call out is what we consider Iris Saves. That really is those patients where we've identified sight-threatening disease, and because it's now been identified, they can get in for treatment and their eyesight can be saved. We track this with our clients and are really proud of that metric. So how does this work? We believe it's a simple 5-step solution where we, obviously one of the first things is capturing those images. We are not a camera manufacturing company. We work with a multitude of camera companies. Why am I echoing? To capture those retinal images at the point of care. Those images get uploaded to our cloud platform. At that point, they are enhanced with proprietary algorithm software that we've developed to really help illuminate the pathology for the eye care providers. Then there's a diagnosis that's rendered through, and those results are sent back into the client's EMR if they want that integrated, or we have other methods of getting those results back. All of this happens typically within 1 business day. When you think about why Iris would be a good choice for you, there are a number of vendors out that do screening programs, but there are a number of things that we believe make Iris unique in how we approach this to really get the screenings completed for our customers, get those diabetics in, get those exams taken. So let me just go through a couple of those differentiators. The first is camera agnostic. As I mentioned before, we are not a camera company. Our focus is on the software and services that we're delivering to you. So we partner with a number of camera companies to offer you the best choice, whether it's a handheld or a tabletop. And a lot of things play into what device you select. Sometimes it's workflow, other times it's your space constraints. Sometimes it can even be your budget constraints, and obviously tabletops are going to be more expensive than handhelds. So we'll work with you to find the best device that's going to work for your organization. Secondly, we have a very successful integration that we've done with hundreds of EMR sites. It's bi-directional orders and results, HL7 integration with discrete data. This really makes for a very streamlined and efficient workflow to get those orders in and to get results sent back to you as part of our program. As I touched on a little bit is the proprietary image enhancement. This is our software that we developed. It's what I would consider our sweet spot with our technology. And this is where, you know, some of our eye care providers say they can even see retinal hemorrhages. So we want to make sure that this really does improve the amount of pathology that's identified and improves gradability as well. Our client success team, this is a resource that we provide to you to really ensure that you're setting up your program for success. You're meeting best practices that we bring to the table based on our experience. And this is a vital resource to the organizations that we work with. We also have a real-time analytics dashboard that tracks all of the data across your program from individual site level to at the highest level of your organization. So you can really see at any point in time how many exams were taken, what were the results of those exams from a pathology breakdown to what's your gradability to what's your iris saves. So this is on demand, real time, and accessible to you and your staff. And then the last thing I want to mention is our focus and expertise. This is all we do. So we really work with you to ensure that your program is set up for success. And then lastly, I want to touch on just one of our clients, Prisma Health. They've had their program live for about 3 years now. They started with 4 clinics, and we have successfully rolled out over 40 clinics to date over those 3 years. The fee for service revenue that they're getting from these exams covers the cost of the program. And then of course, they also get quality bonuses and are getting other incentives by meeting those, increasing their compliance scores and closing those care gaps. So Prisma Health has been a wonderful partner of ours. We also have a bidirectional Epic interface with them as well that has created that very efficient workflow that I mentioned earlier. So I think that really wraps up what I wanted to mention. Were there any questions I could address quickly?
Linda, there was one question in the chat from Stephanie. She wanted to know if you have any recommendations for handheld cameras.
Yeah, we have a number of vendors, of partners that we work with, handheld cameras. Optimed is one camera company we work with. Another one is Remedio. So yes, we have lots of success. We have, in fact, Prisma Health here utilizes handheld devices. They're getting 96% gradability, which is very good. So we have a lot of clients who have gone to handheld cameras because it's just more flexible, it's ease of use, they're lightweight, you can take them from clinic to clinic if necessary. So it just does provide for a lot of flexibility that you won't get with a tabletop.
This is Stephanie. Thank you for that information. I was just hoping if there's any way, maybe I can give you my contact information. We could connect offline so I could see what those recommendations are, because we actually recently purchased a RetinaView 700. Our endocrinology department is trying to collaborate with our ophthalmology department to do diabetic screenings and then have our ophthalmology department read those. I think, you know, the compliance of it is a whole separate component, and we're just trying to kick this off. But we found out after purchasing the device that we couldn't create a DICOM interface with our Epic without using this separate software portal that really wasn't needed. And so I think that's the challenge, and we're looking to see if there are any other options that might have a direct DICOM interface from the piece of equipment. And so it was purchasing a DICOM, interface that was like $5,000 plus the, monthly cost of their software that we weren't even going to use. And so I just wanted to see if you guys knew of any other cameras out there that might be a little bit more what we're looking for.
Yes, Stephanie, we'd be happy to help you. So Philip, I think I can quickly give Philip's email address. It's pbarrett, B-A-R-R-E-T-T, at retinal screenings with an S on the end.com. And he can direct you to the right resource. Did you catch that, Stephanie?
I think so. I have P Barrett, B-A-R-R-E-T-T at retinalscreenings.com.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think we have just a few minutes. Were there any other questions that we could address? I know this was a really quick snippet of Iris, but I wanted to make sure that I got the highlights in the allocated time. Any other questions out there?
Is there a minimum size practice that this makes sense to implement this service?
Well, I think that, when we're talking about diabetics and trying to save eyesight, obviously we see that at least 10% of any diabetic population is going to have diabetic retinopathy. So I think if you think about how many diabetics are in your organization and what the magnitude of getting to those diabetics could be, I'd say no, we try and work with as many organizations as possible to help end blindness, preventable blindness.
Another short hallway, all the way down.
Anyone else out there? Any other questions? Otherwise, we can let everyone go. Well, thank you all for your time. We greatly appreciate it.